Hello. We are back. This is part 2 of our very first Chalk Couture series. So to start this project off, we are starting with this gold shimmer chalk paste, and we're going to paint chalk paste one layer of our cauldron, and it is very shimmery and very gold. It's very beautiful. It's very glittery, but without the mess of glitter. So it's a lot of fun. And this is my very first project ever using Chalk Couture or these type of silk screen transfers or any type of chalk paste. But I am incorporating some paint. Now, after learning a little bit more after I did this project, I did go and do a little bit of research, my own YouTube watching, and you can actually paint with the chalk paste. You could even water it down if you need to. However, I didn't know that at the time. And I think the benefit to doing that is some of these surfaces, and not particularly the ones that I'm using in this particular project, but some of them can be used over and over, and you can erase that chalk paste. So I think there is some benefits in using that versus paint. However, like I said, in this particular project, I'm using a lot of wood cutouts that I cut with my laser cutter. As I said, they offer digital downloads where you can purchase the SVG for some of these shapes. And for this Witchy Vibes tiered tray kit and set and transfers, I was able to get that digital download. They don't offer it for everything, but for this set they did. So I'm just using regular MDF cut with my laser. So there was no harm in using the paint anyway. But now that I know that you can paint with the chalk paste, I will probably do that, especially if I purchase some of their surfaces that can be erased and reused. And so that is going to be a lot of fun to learn and experiment with all the different surfaces that they have and all the different transfers that they have. Now I have moved on to another little glitter shimmer. I think it's glitter silver, and I painted that back layer of the cat with it, and I figured while I had my black paint, I'm just using chalk paint, while I had it out, I was just gonna try to paint everything that I knew that I would want to be painted in black and get it painted in black. So this is the little faux book stack that the kit came with, and it comes in a very bright white, which would have worked. I thought about even just keeping it white, but in the end I painted it black. In addition to the SVG that I was able to purchase from Chalk Couture, I also on my own cut out these 4-inch square frames that I'm going to use to glue some of these shapes and designs onto to add to the tiered tray, and it gives them just kind of a nice way for them to sit and be elevated slightly. And also these it's like kind of a mini easel, I guess, to hold the frames. So I am painting one of them black and one of the frames black. And then I'm going to get the white chalk paste back out and paste. I keep saying paint. I'm pasting these other two little designs. One is just for like a little apothecary sign, I believe, and the other one is in the shape of a tombstone, and I think it says beware. I think we'll see. Now I am going to use the shimmer well, it's purple. I don't know exactly what they call it. It's shimmer something, but it's a purple color. Also very beautiful and glittery and shiny and fun. It's not very often you can get away with using a lot of this dark purple with glitter, but for Halloween and for witches, you definitely can. And this looks so cute after it is all applied. Basically, I just want to get all of my surfaces either chalked or painted and get kind of that base coat on for everything. And then we will break out the transfers and see what kind of fun things we can come up with. And these little witch legs probably end up being my favorite. We do put a transfer on her legs, so she has shoes and like stockings, and I have another little frame that I'm going to apply that to. And the first transfer that I did was on the cat and the cauldron, and I wanted to use the glow in the dark chalk paste, but what I learned after is that I didn't really do it right, because it's not going to show up unless it's dark, and I wanted to be able to see it regardless. So what I should have done is use regular chalk paste, like in white, for example, and then reapplied the transfer and then used the glow in the dark. But I didn't know that at the time, so after I kind of saw the result and how dim this was, both on the cauldron and the cat, I pretty much just painted over them and did something different. And there's a lot of that in this project. I do something, realize it didn't work, or I didn't do it right, or I didn't like it, and I redo it. So there's a lot of that going on, but that's okay. We're just learning and experimenting and seeing what all the things we can do. And this is the black chalk paste. We are going over our tombstone, and it says beware. And another thing about these transfers is you don't want them to be too sticky. So that little looks kind of like a towel. It's terry cloth next to me is what they call a fuzzing cloth. And you don't necessarily need to have that. You just need something to put the transfers, pull it on, or put it on, pull it off, put it on, pull it off kind of thing, to de-stick them a little bit. There's also something that you can use, and it's a type of wax, a surface wax is what they call it, and they have an applicator. Now, I should have used it for a lot of these pieces, because either I didn't fuzz them enough, or I really needed to apply that surface wax, because the transfers did pull up some of my paint, some of the base coat that I had applied, and it also removed some of the chalk paste, like base coat, that I had applied. So I think had I used the surface wax, that would have helped with that. It is intended to be used on like porous surfaces, or maybe had I just fuzzed the pieces a little bit better, they wouldn't have been as sticky. And also these can stretch from what I've learned, and so you don't want them to stick too much to your surface, because when you try to remove them, they could stretch, and we don't want that. So just little tips that I'm learning as I go, and our next project I will have learned and we will do a better job. But this is, again, the little piece that the kit came with. I painted it black, and I am using the transfer that was intended for it. It's also used in they have kind of an example photo of how they created theirs, and you can tell some are intended for specific pieces, and this is one of them. Now, if you didn't have the tiered tray kit, you could obviously just find a piece of wood that this would fit on. Everything's very versatile. Everything can be used so many different ways. That's what's really fun about these. And y'all know how much I love to stencil, so these transfers are just kind of perfect for me, and I am excited to have some new options and new designs and reusable stencils that I can make many different projects with. And this little one turned out so cute, y'all. I love the combination of the black, the white chalk paste, and the glitter chalk paste. I think it is so cute. Look at that purple. Oh my gosh, y'all. So cute. This one is the faux mini book stack, and I'm just over there using my little fuzzing cloth. This, once again, I redid more than once. I'm not even sure how many times. I'll show it to you, but one thing I knew is I wanted to put this spider web in the corner. I knew for sure I wanted to do that. So I started there. What I couldn't decide is what else I wanted to add to it. And I tried a few different ways, and I did eventually come up with something that I really, really liked. And there were just so many fun transfers to choose from, and you can't use them all because there's just so many. But eventually I did come up with one that I think is adorable and so cute. And another thing to mention about these is they need to be washed pretty quickly after you use them. I kind of let a lot of them set for a while I was just continuing to work, but they didn't wash out as well as I would have liked. So I think that will definitely play a part in the longevity of these, and how many uses you get out of them is how well you take care of them. So I think definitely they need to be washed or rinsed fairly quickly after they have been used, so that that chalk paste or paint, whatever you're using, doesn't completely dry and set on there for an extended amount of time. But once again, we are learning, and we'll get the hang of this once we get going, do a few projects. This is the silver. This is one of the many things that I end up changing. Now, I really liked the silver. I just wanted something that stood out a little more, I think. But you can see, I did try the silver. Eventually, that gets changed. In the meantime, I decided I did want to paint my actual tiered tray. Now, Chalk Couture does make little round inserts that have holes in the middle that basically you can slide on top of these trays in just the perfect size so that they fit perfectly. So these tier trays can be so versatile as well. And you can change out those inserts if you want. You can chalk on the inserts. I did leave mine plain black. I thought maybe I would add some bats or use that spider web again. But in the end, I did decide just to leave it plain black because I like my tier trays really, really full. And I like to put a lot of stuff on them. And you couldn't really even see the bottom of it all that well anyway. But that is an option that they do have, which is really, really nice and convenient. Once again, changing up our spider web. I am going over it with the silver. And voila! So cute. Looks just like a spider web, right? I am going to add this transfer that says I put a spell on you. It is so super cute. Just lining it up where I want it, smoothing it out, and applying it in the gold this time. And that does stand out more than the silver does. So you could maybe even do multiple layers of the silver, but I did find that it does not stand out as well as the gold or the purple. Again, in the shimmer, and I got a little of that there on the edge, but that's okay. Easy fix. Making sure it is all dry so I don't smear it. I'm just using a regular heat gun to do that. And then we are going to move on and do our cute black kitty cat. And again, this was one that I had tried in the glow-in-the-dark chalk paste, but it didn't show up the way that I wanted it to. I already explained that I just didn't do it right. And I am using just the bright white on this one. And it looks so cute. Oh my gosh, it is beyond adorable. I love it. I will eventually glue all of this together, and yes, it is so fun. You guys, I am just wanting to like sit and do nothing but use all my new Chalk Couture stuff, but I have to be doing other things. Okay, this is the little shape that I cut with my laser cutter, and we're doing this one in the black chalk paste, and this one fits absolutely perfect. These SVGs are so nice. It'll be fun if they decide to come out with them for everything, because they are just too much fun. I feel like I did miss a couple of the details on this when I was chalking, but it wasn't enough that I wanted to risk trying to lay it back down and redo it. It just looks very witchy, and like this came straight out of the Witch Museum from Salem, and I still don't even know if I want to put it on something. At this point, it's just still on its own, but I think it would be really cute to find a way to hold it up and display it, but so far I haven't. These are my cutest little witch feet and witch legs, and we are going to use a little bit more of that purple, you know what, I think they call it plum. It's shimmer plum, and we are going to get her stockings put on here. Now, I, of course, pulled it off and had to look at it closely, but you'll see it when I reveal. Then I have this other purple. It's definitely not shimmer, and it's a lighter purple. I have no idea the color because it's not in front of me right now, but I decided to do her little shoes in this lighter purple color. And it is so dang cute and witchy. Absolutely love them. These are going to go in one of the frames that I cut, and then I'm going to put something next to them. And that takes me a good long time to decide. Believe me when I tell you. I could not figure out how I wanted to, yeah, I don't know. It was a whole thing. But I play around with it, and what I did in the end, I do love. It just took me a while to get there. Now, I put this Look What You Made Me Brew little transfer on here, which is really cute. But when I told you that I kept changing my mind, I wasn't kidding. Because this does not stay. I don't know. I just couldn't. I didn't love it. That was a problem. I didn't love it. Now we are working on our little mini cutting board, and I wanted to use that witch hat so bad. Y'all, I really, really wanted to use that witch hat because it is so cute and the details. So I put it here. Guess what? Spoiler alert. Just kidding. It doesn't stay here. I end up painting over it anyway. But it is really cute. And I didn't like how it looked after I was done with the cutting board. So it had to go. Now I'm leaving all this junk in here just so you can see there are so many choices and so many options. And you're not stuck with them. If you don't like it, just redo it. It's okay. You can fix it. And this being my first time, I think maybe that was also partly why I was so indecisive and not exactly knowing what I wanted to do or how I wanted it to look, and where I didn't have just an exact plan from the get. Maybe that I should have just been more organized. Honestly, when I opened all this stuff, I was just too excited. I just wanted to use it. I don't want to sit around and think about it a whole lot. But I love the Witchy vibes. They are separate, so you could use them separately. There's a lot of word cutouts on this transfer kit as well. And Witchy and Vibes is one of them. And then I missed part of the W. So you can see I laid it back down and just chalked a little bit more over it. And hello, so cute. Anyway, it doesn't matter because I paint over all of that and redo the entire thing. And I also smeared. But, like I said, all of that will be painted over. Okay, now, one more thing that I did and redid. I used the little trick or treat in the purple. Then I remembered I had a wood cutout for the trick or treat, and I wanted this to be a little bit more dimensional. And so I painted the cutout in black, and then I'm gonna redo the trick or treat in white. I wanted it really to stand out against that web and her little legs, and I thought the white would really pop on the black cutout. So I can tell you this is the last time that I change this one. But at least I didn't have to repaint it. And I don't think I even recorded. I did put the web again, the same web that we used on the book, we used on this. That web is just perfection. So that right there, yes, so cute. It might be my favorite. Oh, and I glued the legs kind of, one of the legs is hanging off the top of the frame. That's how I had to squeeze this in to fit it. But it's absolutely perfect. I love it. Okay, now you can see I painted our cutting board in black. Covered up the hat, covered up the Witchy vibes. I'm using the Witchy vibes still, because I really, really liked that part of it. But instead of the hat, I'm going to use this little crow, or this little bird. And the other side of the cutting board is still the original wood color that it came in. So I can still use that part of it. But this side is now permanently black. But I do like this one a lot better, and it turns out perfect. I'm just gonna stick that crow right there on top of the letter and kind of at an angle, like he's perching. And I used some of that light purple or lavender and just chalked up our crow. And it is the cutest. I do put some ribbon on it, you'll see at the end, or some baker's twine, I guess. And one more down, a few more to go. Just using some Gorilla Glue to glue these pieces, same as I did with the witch legs. And those are the two that we have completed. We are going to keep working on our book stack, which I have probably at this point repainted 3 times, I want to say. I did use a little bit of white paint to kind of make some pages. Again, I'm going through all the transfers, just trying to figure out what I want to do. And in the meantime, I decided I wanted to use my pumpkins. I had cut them with the laser because they were a part of the SVG package, and I wanted to use them. So I'm using the other side of our cutting board. I painted, what did I do? I think I did them in orange. I think they call it pumpkin, which makes sense. And dune. And so I painted the back, like the wood piece that I cut, in the orange. And then I'm using this dune, which is just a really nice off-white taupe, very, very light beige brown color. It's a warm color to me, to my eye. And I'm going to go over the pumpkins and the stems with this. And then we're just going to have a little bit of a pumpkin scene on the back side of our cutting board. It definitely doesn't go with the theme of the tiered tray, but I think that's okay. Because I just really wanted to use these pumpkins, that's all. I just wanted to do it. I glued them on there, just kind of staggered them slightly. And then we're using our same little crow friend, and we are going to chalk him in the dune color, same as we did the pumpkins. So I don't absolutely love this, but since it's not the focal point and it won't even really show on the tier tray, I did leave it, and I glued the pumpkins down. Those aren't coming off. I used Gorilla Super Glue. So we are stuck with that. And it's going to be just fine if we ever want to flip it around or use it on our fall tier tray, maybe a Thanksgiving tier tray. It would look really cute. But that is done. I grabbed some black and white baker's twine, I think is what this is called. And I thought it was so perfect for all these witchy vibe accessories and DIYs that we have created. I just wrapped it around, tied a quick bow, no big deal. I think it would be actually cute to make one of these with like a garland, either the cutting board, since there's already a hole in it. Oh, and my book stack, it turned out so good. I don't even know if I showed it. But this is a close-up of what I did with the sides. It says have a spooky Halloween, and the front, which you did see me, but anyway, create. Or I was going to maybe use the jack-o'-lantern, not the jack-o'-lantern, the cauldron, and cut a hole in it and maybe string some beads for a garland that way. And then I forgot about my rolling pin, y'all. So I'm just going to make this really simple and quick and use the same transfer that we put on the cutting board. But I'm just doing the Witchy. I'm not using the Vibes. And I'm doing this in the black. Once again, we are going to tie a little bit of that baker's twine on the ends of these handles as well. Just putting this together, you can see how dang simple it is. Obviously, it's just like a washer thing. You just screw. You don't need any tools. I mean, they could not have made it any easier. You just twist the top on, or the top tier on, and then there's a connector thing with the handle. So it is just as simple as can be. I waited until they were dry. I did scuff it up a little bit with some sandpaper just for the edges. You know, we don't want anything to look like it's brand new. Not in this project. These witches are from, the 1600s or so. All right, y'all, this is where we ended up, and oh my gosh, it is so cute. These are a little bit of extras I threw in. These are potion bottles that I ordered from Amazon. They are about 4 inches tall. The package actually came with 4 and the stickers. This is just a little house from Target, a little haunted house. It is lit, though you can't really even tell. But it was at their little playground dollar spot area. We've got all of our items that we put the transfers on and the chalk paste. And oh yes, it is adorable. Now I do put this in on the tier tray like a million different ways, like no joke. There's another one of the bottles. Those potion bottles are just kind of fillers, just for space, or even to like have something else rest on it. There's our cute book stack. The book stack is right now laying flat. Obviously you could set it upright, change that around a little bit, but I haven't decided how this will stay, because you can always set things like off to the side, and it doesn't all have to be on the tray. I always feel obligated to use everything that I make for it, but you could definitely set it off to the side. And I'm going to show you just a couple of different ways that I set this up, but overall, no matter how you set it up, it looks so fun. And thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. As always, being my crafty friend. And there are more projects to come, so stay tuned. And I hope you all are having a great week.